I trust that you are well, and I also hope that you are having a good day so far. All right, so tonight we'll be doing our grade 5 English lesson on simple, compound, and complex sentences. So we'll be doing our English lesson on simple, compound, and complex sentences. So we are going to deeply explain and go into what a simple, compound, and complex sentence is. But before we go into a simple, compound, and complex sentence, we started on our previous lesson. We also did simple, compound, and complex sentences, and we specifically focused on is the sentence simple or compound. So tonight, Um, before we start, let's first log in, and then we're going to explain the lessons that we're going to be focusing on and how it also links to our previous lesson. So we're going to log into aplusstudents.ca. We're going to log in with our username as well as our password, and we're going to select language arts, grade 5. And then we're going to the chapter of simple, compound, and complex sentences. And in our previous lesson, we also did simple, compound, and complex sentences, but we only focused on the lesson of is the sentence simple or compound. And a simple sentence has a subject and it has a verb. So basically, it's a complete thought. And then a compound sentence is two simple sentences that is joined by a conjunction, whether it's and, but, or so. But today, right, for our lessons today, we are going to create compound sentences and answer the question is sentence simple, compound, or complex? And we are going to find all of our lessons on aplusstudents.ca. So if you do want to go back, go to the specific chapter, grade, as well as lessons, then we can go on aplusstudents.ca. All right. So a simple sentence. A simple sentence, it consists of just one clause. It consists of just one clause, right? It's like saying it has a subject, it has a verb, which basically shows a complete thought. And then we have a complex sentence, right? And a complex sentence consists of one independent clause and one more dependent or subordinate clause. And then we have a compound sentence. And a compound sentence, it consists of two or more coordinate independent clauses. So that is the three basically sentences, right? Which is a simple sentence, a complex sentence, as well as a compound sentence. So these are the different sentence types also. So here's once again like a breakdown of the different sentence types, starting with the simple sentence. And we said a simple sentence contains of a subject and a predicate or a verb, right? And it expresses a complete thought. That is a simple sentence. And an example of a simple sentence is the boys went to the park. So the subject is the boys and the predicate is went to the park. We like pizza. We like pizza. So we can say we is the subject, like pizza is our predicate. So when it comes to simple sentences, right? Simple sentences is also called an independent clause that can stand on its own. So simple sentences are also called an independent clause. An independent clauses can stand on its own. Then we have a compound sentence. And a compound sentence, it contains two or more independent clauses. Independent clauses, simple sentences. And clauses are joined by coordinating conjunctions. And the conjunctions are for and nor, but, or, yet. But the more basic ones are and, but, or so. And an example of a compound sentence is the boys went to the park, but they did not go to the zoo. So the but is there, right? And the but is the coordinating conjunction. So the boys went to the park, but they did not go to the zoo. And then we have we like pizza and we like spaghetti. So it's like one person or of let's say a group of people or two people saying we like pizza and the others say that we like spaghetti. But in order to join those two sentences, we have a conjunction which is and. So we like pizza, comma, and we like spaghetti. And then we have a complex sentence, complex sentences. And complex sentences, it contains an independent clause, which is like a simple sentence, an independent clause that can stand on its own, and a dependent clause, which cannot stand on its own. It basically needs the independent clause to complete the action. So a complex sentence contains an independent clause and it contains a dependent clause. And the dependent clause begins with a subordinating conjunction. So if we look at the example, remember we said that it needs to begin with a subordinating conjunction. An example is because the boys went to the park, they did not go to the zoo. So because they went to the park, they did not go to the zoo. So because is the subordinating conjunction that the complex sentence begins with. And then the boys did not go to the zoo because they went to the park. So there it does not start with the subordinating conjunction. but it is in the middle. And when it comes to the subordinating conjunctions, right, a few examples or the words that we need to look out for um, when it comes to subordinating conjunctions, the words are after, before, because, although, when, since, if, whenever, unless, while, so, that, even though, wherever. So that is but a few examples of subordinating conjunctions. And when it comes to, so with complex sentences, right? Complex sentences, it either starts with a subordinating conjunction or in the middle of the sentence, they have a subordinating conjunction. And a compound sentence, again, have a pardon, it has a coordinating conjunction. And a coordinating conjunction are words like for, and, nor, but, or yet. So these are the three different types of sentences, which is a simple sentence, a compound sentence, and a complex sentence. So now we're going over to the tutorial page and we're going to the first one that says create compound sentences. All right. So a simple sentence, right, is a sentence with only one subject and it has a predicate. So a simple sentence is a sentence with only one subject and a predicate. Only one person that you're talking about and the action. So the pitcher threw the ball to first base. So the pitcher threw the ball to first base, which means that we need to select our subject. So if we select the subject, then I'll say it's the pitcher or pitcher. And the predicate is threw, but it's threw the ball to first base. But threw, which is to throw. Then we have a compound sentence. And a compound sentence is two simple sentences that is joined by a comma and a conjunction. So compound sentence is two simple sentences that is joined by a comma and a conjunction such as and, but, or so. So the coordinating conjunctions, those are the most commonly used ones. And for example, if we were to give an example of a complex sentence, the pitcher threw the ball and the batter hit it. So the pitcher threw the ball and the batter hit it, which means that if we look at over there, right, that is the coordinating conjunction within that sentence. And it is basically, let's say it's joining those two words, those two sentences. So it's joining the two independent sentences or the two simple sentences within that compound sentence. Oopsie, within the compound sentence. And then some simple sentences have a compound subject or a compound predicate, but they are not compound sentences. For example, if we basically make mention of two people's names, right? That doesn't necessarily mean that we are now working or doing compound sentences. Nope. It's the same as saying Anna and James. We could have said the kids, or the learners, or the brothers, or the sisters, or the siblings, but we specifically made mention of their names individually. So Anna and James will watch the firework tonight. So which means that Anna and James is the subject. So Anna and James is the compound subject. Will watch the firework tonight is a compound predicate. And there we have a compound subject, which is, for example, Anna and James, Jack and Jill, Amy and Zoe. Then, if we look at a compound predicate, right? Remember, we said a predicate is an action part. It's the action that takes place. So if we have a compound predicate, right, it is where we have, let's say, two verbs. So it's a verb and another verb. Then it means that we have a compound predicate also. So bowed and taught. So bowed and walked. Bowed and walked, right? It is two actions. So even though it is a simple sentence, like a simple sentence has a compound predicate, right? So whether parents, or let's say like, not parents, so whether so whether there is a subject within a sentence as well as a predicate, which is the action within the sentence, sometimes we only expect one action to take place, right? But now we have a compound predicate, and a compound predicate is basically two verbs or two actions that is taking place, but it is still a simple sentence, right? So it's still a simple sentence, but it's just that the compound predicate is, let's say, two actions that is being done. So in this case, they are saying bowed and walked. So the singers bowed and walked off the stage, because we could have just said that the singers bowed off the stage, or the singers walked off the stage, or they bowed and then walked off the stage. So yes, a compound predicate within that sentence. And then some simple sentences have phrases that are set off with commas. And the phrase set off with commas is part of the subject, which tells us who or what. And then the predicate is our action. For example, Josh, the new kid at school, lives down the street from me. So which means that this is a simple sentence. And there's a subject, which is Josh, the new kid at school, and one predicate, which is lives down the streets. So Josh, the new kid, it's like they're putting emphasis on the new kid at school. And it has one predicate, and it lives down the street from me. Then we also have Melissa bought a black sweater, not the navy blue one. So Melissa bought the black sweater, not the navy blue one. There we also have Melissa as our subject. Here we have bought the black sweater. Melissa bought the black sweater, not the navy blue one. So that sentence, right? It is also a simple sentence. And I said that our subject is Melissa. And we have a predicate, which is bought the black sweater, not the navy blue one. So there we also have a subject and predicate. So basically, when it comes to simple, compound, and complex sentences, right? A simple sentence, it has one subject and it has a predicate. Then we have a compound sentence, has two simple sentences joined by a comma and a conjunction, such as and, but, or, so. Then we have some sentences that have compound subjects or compound predicates, but they are not compound sentences. For example, Anna and James. So Anna and James is not a compound sentence. It is basically just two subjects. And there's an and in the middle. And that is what brings about the confusion. Because sometimes we think that because there's an and in the middle, it might be a compound sentence, but it is not. The singers bowed and walked off the stage. Bowed and walked. And then some simple phrases, some simple sentences have phrases that are shown off with commas, but they are not compound sentences. All right. So if we are going to be forming a compound sentence, right? Here it says, my team stumbled, and we're going to have to form more words. So my team stumbled over the hurdle, but our team still won the race. So if we look at that sentence, my team stumbled over the hurdle, but our team still won the race. So this is a compound sentence, and there we have but that joins these two simple sentences, which is my team stumbled over the hurdles and our team still won the race. So the word but is there as the coordinating conjunction to join these two sentences. Basically, the simple sentences, which is my teammate stumbled over the hurdle and then our team still won the race. So that is our two subjects, or let's say our two simple sentences, and that is joined by a coordinating conjunction, which is but. All right. Zach should get an air mattress. We need to form a compound sentence. So Jessica should bring a sleeping bag or should bring sleeping bags, or Zach should get an air mattress. So Jessica should bring sleeping bags, or Zach should get an air mattress. So this is basically compound sentences. And the compound sentence is joined by a comma and a conjunction. And if we also look at this sentence, this is a simple sentence and this is a simple sentence. And remember we said a compound sentence is two simple sentences that is joined to make one sentence. Cats groom themselves and their rough tongues act like combs. So cats groom themselves and their rough tongues they act like combs. So if we look at the sub sentence, sorry, the compound sentence, if we look at that word, comma, add, that is a coordinating conjunction that is joining these two simple sentences, which is cats groom themselves as sentence one, and their rough tongues act like combs is the second sentence, and it is joined by comma and. So cats groom themselves and their rough tongues act like combs. Mhm. All right, let us go to our test on creating compound sentences. We need to form a compound sentence. Harvard University is the oldest university in. Is it in the United States? Not the largest one. America, and it is one of the most respected. So Harvard University is the oldest university in. Is it within the United States, but it's not the largest one? Or it is in America and it's one of the most respected. So Harvard is one of the most respected universities. Yes, because everybody wants to go to Harvard University. Eve will be studying chemistry at Brookfield University. So Eve will be studying chemistry at Brookfield University. So Eve will be studying chemistry at Brookfield University. We need to form a compound sentence. Is it at university, but she might take a year off, or one of the best science schools in the state? Brookfield University. Mm-mm. All right, let's say. So even though Eve studying at Brookfield University, she's first going to take a year off, a gap year. So we need to form a compound sentence. So what can be seen in the modern day Egypt? What can be seen in modern day Egypt? So the ancient city of Thebes had many temples and they can be seen in modern day Egypt, or the ruins of many important ancient temples can be seen in modern day Egypt. So what can be seen? Is it the ancient city of Thebes had many temples and they can be seen in modern day Egypt, or the ruins of many important ancient temples can be seen? We're going to choose this one. So the ancient city of Thebes had many temples and they can be seen in the modern day Egypt, because the word and, comma, and, it is joining the two sentences. Because remember, we are creating compound sentences. All right, so now we can get if the sentence is simple, compound, or complex. Simple sentence as a subject and a predicate, right? And it is an independent clause. And then in a compound sentence, it is two simple sentences that is joined by a coordinating conjunction and but or so. That is a compound sentence. And then we have a complex sentence. And a complex sentence is made up of an independent clause and a dependent clause. And the dependent clause, it usually begins with a subordinating conjunction. And remember, there's a difference between subordinating conjunction and the coordinating conjunction. So coordinating conjunctions are and, but, or so, and the subordinating conjunctions are, for example, although, after, because, as, if, since, unless, until, when, or while. And an example of a complex sentence is she ever gets a chance. So if she ever gets a chance, Terry would love to visit the Egyptian pyramids. So if she ever gets a chance, then Terry would like to visit the Egyptian pyramids. All right. So now, what is a simple sentence? Which is a simple sentence? Madison Cox and Gracie Gold were two American figure skaters in the Sochi 2014 Olympics. So we need to say which one is a simple sentence. Is it Madison Cox and Gracie Gold were two American figure skaters in the Sochi 2014 Olympics, or Gary walked through Paris in a daze because he was still suffering from jet lag. So we need to choose the simple sentence. And if we choose a simple sentence, we will just choose Madison. We have Madison Cock Gold. And then we have mhm. So now if we look at the next one that says which is a complex sentence. A complex sentence. And remember we said a complex sentence has an independent clause and a dependent clause. We need to say which one is a complex sentence. Is it Mr. Copeland dedicated his book about the Alaskan wilderness to his wife and his 3 sons? Or I can review the drafts of your story unless you are still editing it. So which means that the second part is a complex sentence, which is I can review the drafts of my story unless you are still editing it. Because the word unless in there gives us the idea that it's a complex sentence. Which is simple. In June, Kimi and Perry will graduate with honors from Newburgh High School. Or we accidentally spilled her glass of juice, but luckily it didn't get on the white sofa. So our simple sentence is June, Kimi, and in June, Kimi and Perry will graduate with from Newburgh High School. That is a simple sentence. Because remember, we said a simple sentence has an independent clause, it has a subject, and then in the next sentence, it says, we accidentally spilled a glass of juice, but luckily it didn't get on the white sofa. That is a compound sentence. All right. So we're going to our test, right? Where we are going to say if the sentence is simple, compound, or complex. And a simple sentence has a subject, it has a verb. A simple sentence has one independent clause. Then we have a compound sentence, which consists of two simple sentences joined by a coordinating, which is either and, but, or so. And then we have a complex sentence, and a complex sentence has an independent clause and it has a dependent clause, right? And it is also joined by a subordinating conjunction. So now we're going to say which is a compound sentence. At the auction, several paintings by famous artists were for sale, including one by Pablo Picasso. And the second one is you can wipe up your spill with some paper towels or you can use a sponge on the counter. So if we look at or if we need to select the compound sentence, then we're going to select option 2 because there by option we have or, which is the conjunction that's joining these two sentences. All right. So unless the weather forecast is wrong, you'll probably need an umbrella tomorrow. Mr. Jones's afternoon lecture was about the art and culture in Germany before World War II. So we need to select a simple sentence. So unless the weather forecast is wrong, you'll probably need an umbrella tomorrow. Or Mr. Jones's afternoon lecture was about art and culture in Germany before World War II. All right, let's choose the first one because Mr. Jones is a subject and lecture. It's something that he's doing. He is lecturing. He's lecture. We look or select a compound sentence, and remember we said a compound sentence consists of two independent or let's say simple sentences, and it is shown by a comma and a conjunction. I had an old token for my subway fare, but the new system only accepts paper fare cards. Or my fleece will my fleece hat keeps my head and ears warm on even the coldest winter days. So which means that we are going to choose the first option, which is I had an old token for my subway fare, but the new system only accepts paper fare cards. The word but is the coordinating conjunction that is joining that two simple sentences, and that is a compound sentence. All right. And now a complex sentence. Because the leaves block the intense sun, it was cool underneath the forest canopy. Or an American badger, one of the fastest digging animals on the planet, dig quickly through both soil and concrete. So we're going to first one because it's either the sentence starts with a subordinating conjunction or it is in the middle of sentence. So that is a complex sentence. All right, so that is our chapter on simple, compound, and complex sentences. And today we focus on the lessons on creating a compound sentence where we said that a compound sentence is two simple sentences that is joined by a comma as well as a coordinating conjunction, which is and or so. And then also, is the sentence simple, compound, and complex, where we say the simple sentence has a subject and a verb. It's an independent clause, and then a compound sentence, which is joined by two sentences joined by a coordinating conjunction. And then a complex sentence, right? It has an independent clause as well as a dependent clause, right? And it is also sometimes joined by a subordinating conjunction. But grade fives, thank you very much for joining our class. This is now the end of our sub of our lesson on simple, compound, complex sentences. You should have a good day further. Goodbye.